Hello, my awesome students. I know it's been a while since we've done one of these, so I'm really excited about having another one. Today we are going to learn about the rotation and the revolution of the Earth. And as you can see, there's a little animation playing right now, and you can see there's the sun, and then you've got the Earth going around the sun, and then you've got the moon going around the Earth. So that's going to be a really important visual to make sure we understand. So I gave you a journal handout today in class, and so you're going to need that handout as well as your journal. Turn to page 80. So we are already on page 80 in our journal. So when you look at the screen, go ahead and get your journal set up. You simply have to fold and glue and put your title as well as the table of contents, and then we will learn all about rotation and revolution. Okay, so now we should have page 80 set up in our journals, and we are going to be looking at some key information about rotation and revolution. On the left is how it should look like when it's folded. On the right is how it should look like once you open it up. So let's go ahead and start learning about those two very important words. So the first one that we're going to learn about is rotation, and we kind of briefly talked about it in class. Rotation is when it's spinning. So it's spinning on an axis. And when it spins on an axis, we call that rotation. And so you see we have a nice little diagram on the right, and then we've got our notes on the left that you'll copy down. When I underline, you need to underline. If I label something on the diagram, then you of course need to label on the diagram. So like I said, rotation is simply it's spinning or turning on its axis. An axis, it's an imaginary line going down vertically from the top of the earth to the bottom of the earth. We call that its axis, and the axis is what it spins on. And that axis is going to be super, super important to realize. So you want to go ahead and label that in your journal. And then the next really big important thing that you want to keep in mind is that the earth rotates counterclockwise. And so that's why you want to draw that little arrow just like I did, because that's the direction that it's going to move. And that plays a major role in how we see what we see here on Earth when we're looking at the sun. Now, the big thing about rotation is that it causes day and night. That is the reason for the sunrise and the sunset. And when you look at the little diagram, you can see that only half of the Earth is getting sunlight. That's what those arrows are showing from the sun. It's hitting the left side of the Earth that's shown right now. So that left side of the Earth that's shown, they're getting sun. So what are they having right now? Right, they're having day. The other side, though, is it facing the sun? No, it has no way to get any sunlight right now. So therefore, that side is having nighttime right now. So that's why different parts of the world experience day and night at different times. It has to do that with that rotation on its axis. Okay? Now, the other thing we want to make sure you understand is that it rotates counterclockwise, and that in order to rotate one time on its axis, it takes 24 hours. Okay? And then whenever we talk about rotation, we're going to have a special little nickname for it, and it should pop up here pretty soon that you're going to write at the top of the page. But we're going to call it rodation rotation. And what rodation means is it's got that word day in it. So it's going to help us remember in our brains that one rotation around the axis causes day and night. Okay? And that's why it looks like the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, because we're moving. The sun's not moving. It looks like the sun's moving, but it is not moving. We know that. You saw that animation, and we just know that now. But we are what's moving. And when we move counterclockwise on the axis in 24 hours, it looks like the sun is rising from the east to the west. But really, it's us moving. It's rotation, rotation. Okay, so we want to make sure we remember rotation, rotation, and that's the spinning on the Earth's axis. So whenever I say rotation, rotation, you're going to say spinning on the Earth's axis. Okay, so that's rotation. And now we want to move on to revolution. Okay, so rotation causes day and night because of the spinning on the axis. Now we're to revolution, and you can look, this diagram looks completely different. So make sure you're on the bottom half of the page. And this time, I don't just see one Earth. I see 4, but I'm not really talking about 4 Earths. I'm talking about how that Earth's moving. And that Earth is moving counterclockwise again. And it is going all the way around the sun this time. So when we talk about revolving, we talk about going all the way around the sun. It's moving around something, just like you moved around your stool. Okay? And for one revolution, we call that, or when the Earth is revolving, it goes in a certain path. That pathway is called its orbit. So when we talk about revolution, we need to keep that word orbit in mind. Revolution and orbit go together. The Earth follows a certain orbit around the sun due to that gravitational pull from the sun. And one revolution takes 365.2 days, or 1 year. So to go completely around the sun takes 1 whole year. And so that's why we have the 4 seasons. So the revolution movement of our Earth is what helps cause the seasons. And a little silly trick to remember it is revolution has how many syllables? Revolution. 4 syllables. There's how many seasons in a year? 4. So that's one way that we can remember revolution. So that's just some silly little tricks to keep that vocabulary in your brain. And when we talk about revolution, we're going to talk about going around something. Okay, so revolution goes all the way around in 365 days. It is the reason for our seasons. On the other hand, rotation spins on an axis, and that takes 24 hours, and that is the cause for day and night. So we've got to keep both of those separately in our brains, completely memorized. Okay? So now what I want us to do is, there's going to be a short video. I know this is a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but I'm going to attach a really cool video that's going to kind of show you the movement of rotation and revolution so you can see it in action. Once you get the notes down and you watch this video, then you are done for the night. I hope you have learned a lot about the Earth's movement. Come to class tomorrow with your notes prepared and with any questions you may have so that we can continue to model and demonstrate our Earth's movements around the sun.
Earth motions. Did you ever wonder why there is a night and day, and why there is a sunset and sunrise? Why the moon seems to be invisible during the day, and same with the sun during the night? To understand this, one has to have knowledge about the motions of the Earth. Earth has 2 types of motions. One is rotation and the other is revolution. Rotation is the circular movement of an object around a center. Revolution is the motion of a body around a fixed point or line. So the Earth rotates on its axis and revolves around the sun. Its rotation is that what causes day and night. Earth makes one full rotation every 24 hours. Different sides of the Earth are exposed to the sun. The one that faces the sun becomes the day, and one that's faced away from the sun has night. A line that bisects areas on the Earth receiving sunlight and those areas in darkness cuts the Earth into lighted and dark halves, which is the circle of illumination. Revolution is the motion of the Earth around the sun in its orbit. It takes 365 1/4 of a day to revolve around the sun. The rest 6 hours and 1/4 day are added to the month of February, which has 29 days instead of 28 days during the leap year.